Brock says the Super Bowl is going through San Francisco. Or he didn't say that. Who knows what he's saying, but do they actually have a chance to win the big game? Plus the Thursday night full preview. What's going on in the NFC South? The best bets of the week, the pick'em, the teasers, everything is covered on the Week 15 edition of The Huddle, presented by OddsChecker. I'm Pat Mayo, joined, as always, by Ross Tucker, Pam Maldonado, and Brian Matthews to cover the entire Week 15 slate. Let's start with Thursday Night Football, where the San Francisco 49ers, winners of 1,000,000-7 against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Week 14, now go to Seattle, 3.5-point favorites against the reeling Seattle Seahawks, who have fallen out of the NFC playoff picture for the first time since that tie a few weeks ago, but they've been a mainstay all season long. They are reeling at the moment, playing no defense. They have no running back. At least they didn't last week. We'll see about what happens on Thursday night in terms of the health of Ken Walker. So, gang, I need to ask you guys a few separate questions as a part of this. The Niners are now down to plus 550 to win the NFC. Or they were last week. Now they're down to plus 350 to win the NFC. That's tied with Dallas. Ross, is that too high?
No, I don't think so. I think that's about right. I think that's where they should be. I think clearly the Eagles are still the team to beat, primarily because of their path, but also because they're playing extremely well. And yes, Pam, I did wear this shirt for you today.
I saw it.
But I think in terms of the Niners, they are for real. I mean, to dominate the Dolphins the way they did, to go ahead and do what they did against the Bucs. I do think Brock Purdy's legs even bring an element to the offense for San Francisco that they didn't really have with Jimmy Garoppolo. I think it's one of the reasons why they tried to draft Trey Lance and did draft Trey Lance. Now, I'm not saying Purdy's Trey Lance, but he can move around a little bit. So, yeah, I think that's about right. I mean, I can only in my head right now foresee three teams from the NFC going to the Super Bowl: the Eagles, Niners, or Cowboys. And both the Niners and the Cowboys look like they're going to get their shot in Philadelphia to knock off the Eagles. So that seems about right to me.
Ross, you're sleeping on the Panthers, pal.
Yeah, no, listen. Steve Wilkes done a great job. They ran right through the Seahawks. That was embarrassing for Seattle. And it wasn't like it was Derrick Henry doing it. I mean, it was Chuba Hubbard and Deontay Foreman, as well as Speedy Blackshear, who's from Philly, by the way. But no, I'm not sleeping on Carolina, but I like it. It's not good for Seattle is the end result here. It's not good for Seattle at all. When I look at this game, I guess I could only lean Seattle getting the points, but I can't do it. Not after what I witnessed from both these teams on Sunday. I typically love to get the 3 in the hook, but I can't do it. I think there's a pretty good chance the Niners run right through Seattle and dominate them like they have the last 2 games.
Pam, I love Seattle plus 3.5. I love it so much. I'll wait until Thursday evening, a minute before kickoff, when it's like plus 4.5.
Seattle's defense is complete garbage, and I love Geno Smith, what he's done with this offense. Even last week when he still threw an interception, if that's like his floor, that's a pretty damn good floor compared to the most of other quarterbacks that are in the league. So I'm fine with Geno Smith still behind center, what he's able to do with this offense, but the defense needs so much help. We just saw them get obliterated on the run last week. Yeah, I have no hope for them in the future with any other offense that they're going to face here in the next coming weeks.
Seattle, yeah, that's a tough one. That defense is reeling right now. I'm actually shocked Ross didn't take the 3 in the hook, So I was leaning 49ers after what I saw last week too, especially with the Seahawks and their recent losses. I just think they're a better team. The loss hasn't impacted them as much as I thought it would. Mr. Irrelevant is playing pretty solid. Only 1 turnover to date, 1 interception to date. And you look at them, they've got a very good defense. They've got playmakers all around. I will be interested to see how they look without Deebo Samuel in the short week, but I think it'll be enough to handle the Seattle team.
And Brock Purdy potentially has an oblique injury, so I'm interested to see now how is he going to be 100%. Deebo Samuel not in the lineup here, so you're getting Purdy in his first road start. It's a loud Seattle stadium, but they can always rely on the ground game with Christian McCaffrey against the Seattle defense.
Brian, are there any parallels to this Brock Purdy situation with that? Geez, I'm so old now, I can't even remember the years they all come back together. But the first year Roethlisberger started, when he got thrust in, and he didn't really do anything, but the defense was dominant, and they just ran train on the rest of the NFL until they got to the playoffs. This is a playoff-esque team that they're going to be playing right now, and obviously Brock Purdy probably not going to be Ben Roethlisberger when all is said and done. That has he just been... Have we just not seen enough from him that other teams haven't seen enough from him that eventually this is going to get figured out on the offensive side of the ball?
Well, I'm sure something will get figured out, but with the way that they can utilize Debo, Christian McCaffrey, I see the parallels that you're making, and it is sort of similar, but I think he's actually surprised. He looks confident. He's made some throws, in the face of pressure or about to be hit, like the Ayuk touchdown pass. Sure, teams are going to get to scheme, learn more about him, but they can really lean on that ground game, their kind of gadget plays, motion plays, and that defense is going to keep them in any ball game.
Ross, final thing on this. Without Debo for potentially the season, probably not all of the playoffs, but the regular season, let's say, do you think we're getting into a situation where if the Niners do win this game, that you might see them, hey, Trent Williams, maybe you're out this week, if they know they're pretty much locked into the 3 seed?
I don't know that they would do that, but I do think that they would probably try to dial back the usage with Christian McCaffrey a little bit. He's going to have to fill the void that they have without Debo Samuel, and he looked awesome on Sunday. I mean, that's as fast as I think Christian McCaffrey's looked in a while, explosive, but I do think they'll start to dial back his touches a little bit once they've more or less secured that 3 seed. It's a really interesting point that you make, because it feels like if they win Thursday night with 3 games to go, they're pretty much locked into that position, which doesn't happen very often, where you're kind of locked into the 3 seed, but they pretty much are unless the Vikings collapse.
Which is in the realm of possibility based on what we've seen from the Vikings over the past few weeks. Maybe they'll just get back to winning by 2 points every single game, and then it's moot when it comes down to it. So, in conclusion, everyone is wishy-washy on the game, except for me, who loves Seattle, except I am the only person no one asked to get picks from. So you probably don't want to listen to me on that one. But 2 guys you need to listen to are John Hyslop and Matt McEwen of OddsChecker's very own Morning Edge. Here's what they had to say about Thursday Night Football.
All right, thanks, Pat. DeadPresPicks here with SlopRules. We are going to give you guys our Thursday night picks for tomorrow night's game. John, we have the 49ers visiting the Seahawks here in an NFC West affair. We got a couple picks for you all for this game tomorrow. John, first, we're going to start with you. Guessing it's going to be a prop here. What are we looking at?
I'm going to go with our friend Geno Smith.
Friend of the show.
I'm going to take 250 plus passing yards at FanDuel. That's plus 110. I don't see how he goes under this number, to be honest with you. Just because, for one, I think he's done this in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. His last 5 games, Matt. He's done this in 5 straight games. All types of game scripts, too. All types of defenses. I know that the haters are going to say that he only had 197 last time he played San Francisco. But this is a different San Francisco team. This isn't the same San Francisco team. This might not even be the same Geno Smith. We don't know. But what I do know is that the 49ers secondary is not great. They lost 2 guys in that game against the Bucs the other day, and Brady went over this number. But here's the thing that people forget: they had a long touchdown called back because one of their guys held. So I mean, it's not like San Francisco's defense did anything for that. It's just they just got lucky. I really, really think that the Seahawks are not going to be able to run on these guys, and they're just going to throw it the entire time. And 250 is a pretty low bar to clear for new Geno Smith. This isn't old Geno Smith. This is new Geno.
Well, this is kind of like West Virginia Geno Smith, right?
West Virginia Geno's back.
He was cool.
Yeah, good call.
Yep. Yeah. So it's kind of like we're turning back the clock on him.
Yeah. So also too, if you wanted to get wild, I mean, for me, Thursday nights are kind of tame. But if you want to get crazy, 275 plus is plus 194. 300 plus is plus 320. 325 plus is plus 580. All these are in play. I mean, Geno just in 2 of the last 3 games, he's gone 325 plus, Matt. That's 2 of 3. That's almost 66%.
Yep, almost.
Almost.
And 66%, that's not bad.
It's
That'll play.
pretty good for a plus 580 bet.
Not bad.
Like I'm telling you, like I think San Fran's defense is good. Do not get me wrong. I'm not saying they're not good. So people don't yell. But what I'm saying is their secondary is they're kind of struggling, man. They got concussions, torn ACLs, just all over the place last week. So like that could be a problem.
Yeah, they're a little banged up at the moment. So I'm going to stay on this game. Obviously, I'm going to go with Seattle here. Plus 3.5. It's minus 120 right now. I like this spot, though, for the Seahawks. I think everyone and their mother is going to bet the Niners here. The 49ers just beat the living hell out of the Bucs. They've looked really good as of late. Look like the best team in the NFL over the last 5-6 weeks. But I think in this spot that this is a Seattle line all the way. So this is more just trusting the line here at 3.5. If you have 3 flat, I see it at plus 105 too. I think that's fine. I actually do think Seattle wins the game outright, but I'm going to take the insurance. It's still Brock Purdy here, John, and he's on the road. Seattle's a really tough environment on a short week to go in and just dominate a game. I just don't see how he does that. And then on the other side, you kind of mentioned it. Seattle actually has a really good offense. I know San Francisco has one of the best defenses in football. Not denying that, but I actually think Seattle will be able to put up points here and string together some drives against the Niners. Also, Deebo Samuel dealing with an injury. That's a huge loss if he doesn't go in this game for them from an offensive standpoint. So, no Samuel. They have some other guys banged up here. I get it. I'm in on the Brock Purdy train, John. I had him in the hunt, right, for top 10 quarterback.
Somebody said the other day, rock out with your Brock out, and I thought that was hilarious. So it sucks that we can't bet on him.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's the thing. So Brock, the first week, I told you this story. He came in and he covered for me against the Dolphins. So I faded him last week. I was like, he's not going to do it again. He did it again. Now I have to fade him one more time. But if I fade him twice and lose, I will never fade Brock Purdy again for the season. I'll make everybody that promise. But it's
how fading works.
Yeah, see, it's not even about him necessarily. It's just the spot. Short week, on the road, divisional game. I want the points, John. I want the points. I'm going to trust the line here. So give me the Seahawks, baby. I think they keep it close. I think they battle here, and maybe.
You want to hear a fun fact?
I would love to hear a fun fact.
If you parlayed this little same game parlay action, you would get plus 270 on this.
That's even better than.
We should get more than that, but I'm not a math guy. I could be wrong, but it feels like we should get more.
Or you could do Seahawks money line with your bet.
Yep, that's definitely in play as well. That would make plus 373. Now it's a party.
Now it's a party. Thursday night party. Get us going before the weekend.
That's another fact.
Sorry. Oh, we got one more fact.
One more fun fact. There is football on Saturday, so we only have to make it through Friday with no NFL, and then we get Thursday, skip Friday, sleep all day, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So this is like the kickoff to like an amazing weekend.
Yep, what a time to be alive. All right, that's gonna be it. That's gonna be it for John and I on this segment of the Huddle. We will see you guys soon. Take care.
All right, if we couldn't make sense of the Thursday night game, here's a very easy topic for everyone. The NFC South. What's going to happen over there? All those fantastic teams, which are incredibly predictable, as we found out throughout the course of 2022. Back in week 8, we had a conversation about this division where we were all tasked with defending one of the assigned teams. Not necessarily who we thought was going to win, but trying to make a case for one of these teams to win the NFC South. Pam, you were tasked with the Carolina Panthers at 18-1. I mean, it's just through osmosis, getting luck of the draw, you might end up being a big winner here.
Right. And what did I say? Did I say yes or no to them?
No.
Yeah, missed out on value because now all of a sudden they look like a team that's worth fighting for. Right now, even at that price, still worth a buy because I think we're just starting to believe and see just how awful of a head coach Matt Rule actually was. Great in college, didn't come to fruition in the NFL, but they are in it to win it. You saw him last week go a couple of times, go for it on fourth, and Sam Darnold, He actually looked pretty competent, which we know he can blow up at any second, however. 0 touchdowns in back-to-back games, but this is a solid running back crew. I just want to take a moment, though, to have like a Big 12 appreciation post because we're talking about, Brock Purdy, and now we have Chuba Hubbard, so let's go Big 12. Finally, I like seeing some of the players do really well. The Steelers, this is a division where you kind of have some opportunity here because the Steelers may not have Kenny Pickett. He's in concussion protocol. And Tampa Bay and the Saints. To close out the season, the two teams that are both pretty lifeless. So I missed out on the opportunity last week, but worth a buy now? Absolutely.
Pam, I'm not super familiar with American college divisions. Is the Big 12 that one that's on Thursday nights at like 9 p.m. Eastern time?
So one that no one pays attention to. Whatever, we have a Big 12 team in the college football playoff. Go Horned Frogs.
Oh, boy.
Go Horned Frogs. Go Horned Frogs from someone that went to UT. That is unbelievable.
You have to appreciate, though. You have to give love if you're.
How do you have to give love?
I appreciate it.
Wow.
Ross.
That is,
Ross.
I mean,
Yeah.
That is like, just so, Pat, since you're not that familiar, okay?
I was joking. I'm very familiar.
No, I know. But think like that. I cannot imagine how much it bothers Longhorn fans that the Horned Frog, TCU, which never should even be on the same stratosphere as the University of Texas, is actually in it. Meanwhile, she's taking shots at Matt Rule because when he was at Baylor, he was smoking Texas in the Big 12 and getting the Big 12 championship game every year.
I said he was great in college, didn't come to fruition in the NFL. It's different. You can't recruit your own players. But look, I am a Longhorn. Hook 'em horns. I bleed burnt orange. But I can appreciate as a Big 12 girl that we have somebody not named Oklahoma inside the college football playoff.
Is this like a Big 12 thing, Ross? Or Brian, are you rooting for like UCLA when it comes down?
Zero chance.
Does that ever go? Like, how does that happen?
Yeah, there's no chance. Look, if there were another Pac-12 team, maybe Oregon. I had a younger brother that played there, but no, if UCLA's in there, I'm sorry, I'm rooting for the other team. That's just kind of how it goes.
TCU is not a rival for Texas, so.
Well, is anyone a rival for Texas? When was the last time they were? Good?
This season it wasn't.
Is Vince Young walking through the door? Because that would be fine, I think. Maybe even Vince Young today. Who knows? Sorry, Brian. I know that one probably hurt. All right, let's get back to the NFC South. Vince Young, I'm reading, not in this division or has ever been in this division, from what I can tell. The Bucs are currently minus 300, Ross, at DraftKings Sportsbook. The Panthers are now plus 350. My poor Falcons, they've wilted. They're 12-1. Then you got the Saints at 30-1, who basically have to win out. The Bucs have been terrible all season long, but it still looks like, unless it's a complete implosion, that somehow they're going to win this division with 7 games. Would you be willing to look at the field against the Bucs here? Maybe just bet all 3 of them. Hopefully the chips fall in your favor.
Ooh, that's an interesting question, Pat. I hadn't thought of that. Probably not. No. I still think it'll be the Bucs, and the odds are reflected in that. But it's painful to watch. They are not a good team. They're very fortunate that they won that Rams game and that Saints Monday Nighter. They could easily only have 4 wins. And I got to tell you, as a former teammate of Tom Brady's, it's kind of a bummer. It's a bummer to watch him be on a bad team. It's a bummer to watch him play this poorly. This is kind of the season that I never wanted him to have, that I never wanted to see happen. But it's happening on pretty much a weekly basis. Although, even every time I say that, I swear the next game, he scores 2 touchdowns in the last minute or something. And we're all like, oh, he's still Tom Brady. It's unbelievable. But it's been tough to watch. I think they'll still figure it out. And they'll get the wins that they need to win the division. But I don't think they're a threat in the postseason, right? Like maybe half the year I thought, if they get in, you never know. No, I know. I do know. They're not as good as the other team. They're not going to be able to beat, the Niners, Cowboys, and Eagles. That would shock me.
It's week 15. If you think that there's still time for the Bucs to figure it out, you're probably referring to the 2023 season.
Hey,
Brian, I'm looking at Atlanta's schedule here.
Yeah.
I know that he's like, Pam said he played in some Division III conference, but Ritter, what if he's good? does Atlanta still have a chance?
Look, I don't think they do at this point. I am interested to see, though. Look, they run the ball more than anybody. Now you get somebody who, has shown he can run it too. Probably help Drake London, the skill position players they have left. But look, I had Tampa early in the season, so Carolina was a natural hedge. I haven't thought about jumping on the other two. Might be something to consider. So we'll see how that goes. But Tampa Bay is just eking out some wins, and you wonder how long they can do it for. But I guess we did say that about Minnesota too.
Pam, is there a way that we can get around having one of these teams in the playoff? Can we invite TCU to come play in the NFL playoffs or something like that?
Let's make it happen. But I will say that Desmond Ridder, not a good quarterback. This is potentially an okay matchup for him because there's not going to be a lot of quarterback pressure being applied. But all you have to do is look at that playoff game that Desmond Ridder was in last year against Alabama. It was awful. That was the preview. And this is the NFL. It's time for the big boys, and he's not ready.
Guess what?
Hopefully
Desmond Ridder would have
blockers.
been Texas's best quarterback since Colt McCoy.
I'm not arguing with that. Texas has been awful.
This is so
Can't find
fun.
quarterback.
This is great.
This is
Still,
so fun.
Well, maybe we can do a draft of best Texas quarterbacks of the 2000s.
Texas would pay $5 million right now in NIL money to have Desmond Ridder as their quarterback. Although they kind of like the Ewers kid now.
Well, let's see if we can make some good picks. Obviously, Texas can't pick quarterbacks, but we rebounded a little bit last week, so we should probably talk about our picks for the week, the best bets. This is Pick'em, brought to you by MyOC Premium. And don't forget to head over to oddschecker.com and sign up for your very own MyOC Premium account. For less than just $1 a day, you'll have access to our gambling experts, exclusive picks for NFL, MLB, college sports, NHL, UFC, NBA, golf, and so much more. After a couple down weeks, because shockingly, that does happen when you bet on sports, we got back to it last week. 4-2 ATS, and it was fantastic. Ross, you were 2-0. You got things back on track for us, so you, sir, can start off this week.
All right, I'm going to start with the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's right. Trevor Lawrence has played outstanding 2 out of the last 3 games he's played, probably the 2 best games of his career. He's kind of on fire. The Cowboys didn't look very good at all against the Houston Texans. Getting 4.5 at home for a Jaguars team that's trying to finish strong. And by the way, they're not even out of it yet with the reeling Titans in the AFC South. I'll take the 4.5 points with the Jaguars. I think that's a close, competitive game. Wouldn't be shocked if the Jaguars even won the game. So anytime I get more than a field goal in a game in which I think the underdog has a decent chance to win, I'm taking it. Jags plus 4.5 against the boys.
Brian, where are you going with your first selection?
All right, so first selection, I'm going to go against a hot team. I'm going to go Jets +1 against the Lions. Like Jared Goff and that offense, they've been on fire. They've been playing at home also, though. And when you look at the stats, Jared Goff has 20 touchdown passes to 3 interceptions at home versus 2 touchdown passes to 4 interceptions on the road. I wouldn't dig too far into that outside of the fact that now the Jets have a very, very good duo of cornerbacks that'll give them fits. So, look, I like this spot for the Jets +1. I know it's not a wide margin. Obviously, I think that they might win this one outright. And, I think Goff and the streak might come to an end this weekend.
I'm loving the NFL totals, and I know that mine split last week 1-1, but it was because Brock Purdy was just too dang good for his opening game, and I'm just going to consider that just unfortunate. But otherwise, more often than not, I believe that one would have hit. So I'm correlated to Brian's pick, and I'm going with the Lions and the Jets under 44.5 because I love the Lions. They're so fun to watch. I love Dan Campbell. I actually really love Jared Goff. I love Jared Goff at home, but this offense looks absolutely stellar. However, the road splits for Jared Goff are pretty profound. 20 touchdowns, 3 interceptions at home, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions on the road. Now facing a Jets defense that in back-to-back weeks held both Kirk Cousins and Josh Allen to under 200 yards, 2 passing touchdowns combined between the 2 quarterbacks. So I know that Mike White has a rib injury. I don't know what the offense is going to produce from the Jets side. And Goff, he's probably not going to look good. I would be happy if he did as a fan, but the run game is going to be heavily utilized. So I love the under 44.5 between the Lions and the Jets.
I'd also be remiss if I didn't say part of my reasoning was because Mike White has a little bit of that dog in him. I mean, you saw him took some hits. I like Mike White. You know, he's out there slinging it, getting the ball to his receivers. So I didn't want to leave him out of there. Sorry about that.
It hasn't come up yet this season, but although he may have that dog in him, he also has them picks in him too.
But yeah.
They both do. Interceptions can also be due prevent scoring. So another reason to back the under.
Shoot.
Oh, well, I mean, that can work the other way too. Picks can create short fields, which leads to easy scores.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have another total for us, Pam?
Yes, I am looking at the Bengals and the Bucks under. We have talked in nauseum about how Brady, he looks so bad. Both the Bengals and the Bucks are both top 5 for underplays this season. Tampa Bay is 10-3 to the under. Cincinnati is 8-4-1 to the under. Is there any one game where you have seen Tom Brady and the Bucks and say, yeah, that's a good offense? They can put up 20 points against this Bengals top 10 defense. Tampa Bay doesn't have a run game. They're dead last in rushing. Brady has thrown 5.1 yards per pass in his last 3 games. And Brady has thrown 4 interceptions in his last 4. And on the other side, you have the Bengals who are dealing with injuries. Last week, Cincinnati, in that game, they lost tight end Hayden Hurst, wide receivers Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins. And Burrow has done a great job of releasing the ball quicker, which has led to him just with 3 total sacks in the last 3 games played. But for one, Tampa Bay potentially may be in a rebound spot, at least on defense, because now they're back in their home stadium. And Joe Burrow on the road, he's been sacked 7 times more when traveling compared to versus at home. So I love Brady to continue not looking like Brady, and Burrow potentially down with some weapons, under 44 for this game.
All right. Hey, look, on my next one, I'm going to go, and I'm pausing here. This is a tough one. I swore I wouldn't do this early in the season. Take Green Bay with a lot of points. I'm going to go Green Bay -7 against the Rams. And the reasoning is, look, Baker Mayfield, I get it. He got in there. You know, we saw John Walford take a few snaps. Yes, you know, he orchestrated a few drives at the end. They're going to be going to Green Bay, Lambeau Field. Packers will be a little bit healthier. You know, I'm not saying they're a great team here, but the Raiders moved the ball at will on the Rams in the first half. I think with the bye week, they have some time, you know, to scheme and kind of take little pieces and parts from that. So I think the Packers at home, I think they'll take the game. I'm going to go -7. I'm going to fade Baker Mayfield in this spot.
My second pick is the G-Men. I'm going with the Giants against the Commanders. The Giants are getting 4.5 points. Neither one of these teams is that great, but they just played against each other like 2 weeks ago, and the Giants were clearly the better team. They butchered it at the end of the game in so many different ways. They had 2 horrible tackling plays against Dotson and McLaurin. I think it's an even game. I think it's a field goal game either way. Anytime I'm in that situation, I said it similarly with Jacksonville, getting 4.5. Even if the Giants lose, I feel like maybe 24-20, something like that. I'll take the Giants and the points.
Well, those are the picks for Pick'em, brought to you by my OC Premium. Probably going to go 6-0. Not a guarantee, obviously, but I'm feeling it this week for the crew. Something that did not go right last week, despite going 2-0 against the spread. 0-2, Ross, as a part of Tuck's Teasers. That is very uncharacteristic of you, but it is good that you lost them both in the same week because, you know, if you lose, you go 1-1, you're not winning a teaser anyway. So you might as well compound all of the losses into 1 week because then every other week can be a winner.
Pat, I love your logic, buddy. I literally, when the first half of the teaser fails, I literally root to lose the other half because I feel like I'm like ridding myself from another miss there. So as soon as the Vikings didn't cover because my former teammate, Dan Campbell, threw the ball to Penei Sewell on 3rd and 7 to go ahead and get the first down, kick the field goal up 2 scores. Hey, Dan, I don't care about you guys winning. I had the Vikings getting 8.5. You don't kick the field goal in that situation. How do you not know this? At any rate, I got a bunch of good teaser legs for this week. I'm excited. All right, take your notes, everybody. Here we go. I like Green Bay going from -7 down to -1. Against the Rams. They're not losing that football game. I mean, they're not losing the game. So they're not losing at home to Baker Mayfield and the Rams. And I also like the Bills against the Dolphins, -7.5 down to -1.5. It's going to be cold, bad weather. Tua looks bad. Bills will win that game. So I love those 2 teaser legs. Then how about a couple of Keystone State teasers? The Eagles. The Eagles, Pam, laying 8.5. Take them down to -2.5 against the Bears. The Eagles are an absolute wagon right now. I don't think the game will even be close, but it's a good teaser leg through the 7 and the 3 to -2.5. And then how about Pittsburgh against Carolina? They're getting 2. Take them up to getting 8. Carolina's playing better, but they're not going to like blow out the Steelers. Physical, lower scoring game. So I like Pittsburgh +8. And then finally, I like Arizona with my favorite Texas Longhorn quarterback, Colt McCoy, Pam, going up. I feel like I say Pam at the end of every sentence. At going up to 8.5. I don't remember who they're playing. Oh, they're playing the Broncos. Take care, Arizona up to 8.5, playing the Broncos, and take the Titans up to 8.5, playing the Chargers. Chargers run defense stinks. Derrick Henry's going to run right through them. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teaser legs that you can do with what you want.
I will caution the Steelers, though. If it is not Kenny Pickett and instead it's Mitch Trubisky, do you trust Mitch against anybody?
It might be Mason Rudolph from the Big 12. Oklahoma State.
Well, if it's
also a quarterback better than any Longhorn quarterback for the last 10 years.
I will take Mason Rudolph, sure, but if it's Mitch Trubisky, I am not putting it, not even on a teaser. You couldn't pay me to get a 7-point teaser, 8-point teaser, 10-point teaser on Mitch Trubisky, even if it is the Steelers.
I feel like we're acting like Kenny Pickett has been some sort of god over Mitch Trubisky this year. He really hasn't.
But he's
Hold on, Look, I'm
less boneheaded, I think.
Look, I'm with Ross here. Pittsburgh's still Pittsburgh defensively, right? And we're still talking about Sam Darnold in Carolina. And while they've done a very good job, they're not blowing teams out. I don't think they're going in there, they're going to blow them out. So I'd agree on that.
You never know. It's just if it's not Kenny Pickett, I don't like Mitch Trubisky. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, we haven't seen too much of a, when they're interchanging, it's, like we just haven't seen something where I've seen, Pickett and said like, oh yeah, he's the guy. Kind of, agree on that point. But yeah, I mean, we could see anything can happen.
Yeah, we also do not know whether or not DJ Moore is going to play for the Carolina Panthers as of this recording. So also, and we're probably not going to know that until Sunday based on the way a lot of these injury reports have been going. And hell, he might be just like T. Higgins, where they're going to say he's playing, and then he's just not actually going to play. He's just going to stand there and do nothing the entire time. That would be fun, but that's more of a prop and fantasy type thing. Probably won't have a huge impact on this one. But I want to thank everyone involved with the show. Ross, Pam, Brian, everyone behind the scenes. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. I'm Pat Mayo, but before I let you go, I want to tell you about a couple of ways that you can win some free and easy money from OddsChecker. First off is a chance to win $500 just on us in time for the holiday season. All you got to do is subscribe to our YouTube page at OddsChecker US and you're automatically entered to win. If you want a second entry, just comment on any recent video. And we're giving you a chance to win $100 daily on our Instagram page. Start by, you guessed it, following us at OddsChecker-US. Then find the contest post for the day. Tag a friend to enter the contest. Even if you win, you're not completely out, but you'll have to go to our page for more info on that. So whether you're trying to win $100 daily or $500 for the month, OddsChecker is making it come true. So good luck, and we'll talk to you next week.